Here's a little bit. Let's go back to the federal funding, Scott, and let's talk about our senior community here. At the top of the list for federal programs that are using the census dollars is Medicaid and Medicare. Beyond healthcare, though, how is the census then impacting our senior populations?
Well, it's a massive impact, Kip, because if you look at many things, as we age, we rely more and more on services in our community. For example, transportation. These dollars that come from the census are going to help us in both local, state transportation. And as our ballooning numbers of folks over 50 continue to pour into the state, that becomes more and more. You mentioned healthcare, including Medicaid and Medicare Part B, but also housing. Not only in Southern Nevada, where we continue to see rents rise at a rapid rate, also in Northern Nevada, they have a housing crisis. And much
context, the number that's thrown around is $20,000, $2,000 a year, but from census to census, $20,000 per count. You start to do the math on that, and you can get up to millions, billions of dollars rather quickly. I'm wondering, let's go back to the senior population here and just talk a little bit about what are some of the big challenges in that population of getting an accurate count?
Well, first of all, it's number one is caregiving, actually. There's a lot of folks, especially when you start to look over 65, who don't care for themselves. They have a caregiver, whether it's a family member, a loved one, or a paid caregiver. For them, getting the census completed, they're going to also rely on somebody to help them with that. They're relying on someone to help them with everyday needs. And so to complete the census, they're going to rely on them too. So that is a big challenge. And that's one of the things and why the reason we're so involved in working with the partners around this table and with the U.S. Census Bureau to ensure that caregivers are aware of the census, making sure that those folks who they are caring for are counted accurately so that the services that they need are funded properly as well.
Drivers, KOMO's Denise Whitaker is live in Seattle to explain. Denise?
It may surprise some of you to learn that there are districts still working to hire bus drivers. Surprising because it takes weeks to get them trained before they can get behind the wheel of one of these. And I've learned Seattle Public Schools, which contracts out its transportation services, now warning families that some of them may start the school year without a school bus.
In Seattle in particular, it's great news for us. We have more than enough drivers. We've overhired drivers.
But First Student is only half the equation for Seattle Public Schools, which decided back in July to split its transportation needs between two companies, First Student and Zoom. I asked Zoom where they are in preparations for this school year, which starts September 7th, but I've yet to receive a response.
We continue to drive the recruitment of drivers by offering bonuses.
Those bonuses from First Student range from $2,000 all the way up to $6,000, depending on experience.
The bonuses, the pay, is all of that sustainable in today's economy?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us it is.
Tell me, driving a school bus is more than just getting the license.
Bus driving, especially yellow school bus driving, it's not just a job, it's really more of a calling.
At least less pessimistic about the Las Vegas Raiders. It's what the defense has been doing. This is something we were focused on a lot during training camp, Scott, and it feels like maybe even though it took like a couple of weeks, maybe some things are starting to fall into place for that group.
Yeah, I think so. And again, I think they need more talent there. And from what we've heard, the buzz is that they're actually looking to be buyers in the trade market and up front on the defensive line, particularly at defensive end and maybe on the inside of tackle. But you look at some of the players who've really stepped up. I mean, John Jenkins had a great game this past week against the Patriots. And so
welcome back. Silver and Black today, Odyssey original podcast, also heard on The Bet in Las Vegas. And speaking of Las Vegas, a native son now joins us. Jason Fitz joins Mo and I here on the show. Jason, how you doing, man? You enjoying your summer so far?
Yeah, I'm doing great. And by the way, I always love it when you guys reach out in general because I love your work. So it's fun to come on with guys that, you know, I consume it, and I think you guys do a great job. So, you know, honored to be able to hang out with you.
Well, I appreciate that very much, Jason. And likewise, that's why we like having you come on, because you always give the fans unfiltered. And you're a fan, too. You're a Raider fan. I think that's why folks, whenever we have you on the show, love having you here, because they hear it from you, but they also get the elixir of truth, which sometimes is hard to get for them in other places. So let's get started.